Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, bad boys.
Hey guys, my name is Matimio, and today's challenge, I decided to have some fun in Battlefield 4, and so I'm only going to be killing my enemies with the MAV. If you are not aware, the MAV isn't just a reconnaissance tool. Like, that's its main function. It is amazing at spotting people down on the ground. It has a nice little motion sensor, so if anyone is walking underneath you, they'll show up on the minimap. That's its main function, and it does it extremely well, but it also has this nifty little feature where if you are pointing at any gadget in the game, I think any gadget is susceptible to it, you pull the trigger and then an EMP blast happens right where you're pointing at and the gadget explodes. It doesn't matter if it is, a claymore, it could be a health pack, an ammo bag, a spawn beacon, literally any gadget in the game, or at least I'm pretty sure. I haven't tested this out on the flying gadgets like the UCAV or the SUAV, but I'm pretty sure any gadget in the game, as long as you line it up, it will explode. And so where the challenge comes in is that this also works for explosive devices. And so if an enemy is unlucky enough to be next to a mine, a C4, a claymore, a slam, if you use the EMP at the appropriate time, the explosive device will go off, and if they're caught in the blast radius, you'll get a nifty kill. And what's amazing about it is not only is it humiliating, but it also shows in the kill feed that you took them out with the MAV. It doesn't say that they were killed by a slam. It doesn't say they were killed by C4 like you normally would think it would. It actually says such and such was killed by an MAV. It is glorious. And so really what this challenge came down to was just a hell of a lot of patience. I could not secure a kill by myself. I was solely reliant on the other people on the battlefield to lay down these explosive devices because, I mean, technically, I guess I could have ran out into like a road, placed down some C4 because I was playing as the recon, and then detonated them with the MAV as someone ran on by, or if, a tank rolled on over. I guess I could have set them up that way. But honestly, that wasn't part of the challenge, and that just seems kind of stupid because you could have just waited there with your C4 in hand and waited for someone to run by normally, and it just would have been the same thing without the MAV. And so I figured I would do this right. I would do it how a lot of you guys would expect, and that is just to wait for the enemy to roll on by or place it down and then blow it up like right in their hands and secure the kills that way. And because of this, it was a waiting game. This was not high octane gameplay by any means. Like, I was not running and gunning. I was not spraying my enemies down. I wasn't, going Rambo or anything like that. I literally had to find some C4 trap. I had to find mines on the battlefield and wait for someone to roll on by. And so for the vast majority of my playtime, I was just spotting everyone. Like, I could have just sat there, I could have just waited for people to roll on by, and I still was doing that. I was still scoping people out, but I was like, hey, I'm gonna contribute to my team, I want us to win this game, and so I was still spotting. Like, that's pretty much what I was doing throughout my entire play session. But every so often, every couple of minutes, I would notice an enemy getting closer and closer to some mines I've been eyeing, and then once they got close enough, sometimes they would run off, sometimes they'd be like, oh, I'm not gonna go that way, I'm gonna zigzag somewhere else. But every once in a while, I would get that lucky little fella who would zip on in there, and then I would detonate it and secure the kill. There is something deeply satisfying about taking out an enemy with their own explosive device. Like, if they placed down mines, that was meant to take out your tanks. Like, those were meant to take out your teammates, but then you just whipped it around and slapped them right in the face with their mine, and then you just took out one of their tanks with their own mine. Like, that is something that is deeply, deeply satisfying. It doesn't happen very often, and admittedly, it's probably not the most productive thing to do on the battlefield. Like, it's probably better just to take them out normally with grenades, or just ignore them completely. But there's just something so sweet about taking out an enemy tank with their own mines. Another thing I had a lot of fun doing was annoying the hell out of all assault and support players. Once again, because you can take out ammo bags and health packs with this gadget. Every single time my teammate was trying to take out an assault player, but that assault player would duck behind cover and lay some health down at their feet to try to regenerate some health, I'd be like, no, sir, you're not going to be able to do that and take him out that way. It wasn't a huge advantage for my teammate. It's not like, I was winning firefights for people, but it was a subtle help. I was keeping on the minimap, so they knew exactly where the enemy was going. They couldn't hide from my teammate, and they also couldn't regenerate their health very quickly. So as long as my teammate was able to capitalize capitalize on it. They were able to get on in there and use that information and the reduced health. I felt like I was, a small contribution to a couple of those kills. So that was a lot of fun to do as well. But overall, this challenge was a lot of fun. Was it difficult? No, I wouldn't go as far to say that it was all that challenging. I mean, I pretty much just had to wait for people to lay down their explosive devices, so it was a waiting game. Like, that's essentially what it was. And while every once in a while I would have to have some fancy footworking to avoid people that were locking onto me with some stingers, there were some rounds where people just wouldn't refuse to stop locking onto me with their stinger missiles. I was like, God damn, are you just waiting for me to bring this thing back up? Like, what are you doing this entire round? So that was one thing I had to work around, block line of sight, use the environment to my advantage. But for the most part, I was just up in the air, patrolling around, spotting for my teammates, trying to give them information, pestering support players and assault players, taking out their ammo and health bags, and then every once in a while securing a kill with a nice little explosion. But that's about it for today's challenge, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you have a recommendation on what you would like me to try next, let me know down below. It can be a different gadget, it can be a weapon with a terrible combination of attachments. Let me know down below. But until tomorrow, have a good one and take it easy.